All right, Rishi, looks like we are live. I am going to redirect the link, but as of now, we are up on YouTube.
Awesome. Okay. Welcome once again, everyone who is joining us on YouTube Live right now. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for the day 7, the final day for all the cool presentations of this Youth Lead the Change group that we have here with us. So we're just gonna begin shortly in just a minute. But at this point of time, I would love to hear from some of the students before we jump into the presentations and all that cool stuff. Would love to hear some of the feedback. Of course, we're gonna do the main review later, but would love to hear from you as to what you guys really liked in the session and anything. Okay, we've got Tanya and Aditi and Radhika. Are you here with us as well?
Yes, very much.
Awesome. So Radhika, thank you so much for joining us and just giving so much support and motivation to these kids. We're just going to take a couple of hands, guys, because we are on a tight schedule, and then Radhika will begin with some opening remarks from your side, and then of course the cool social change projects that we have for all the kids. So on that note, Tanya, why don't you start us off with your comments?
So I think I really just enjoyed this seminar. I think it was very unique, mainly because when you were talking to us or when you were helping us interact with each other, you weren't really treating us like teenagers or people who are completely inexperienced in the professional field, but you were talking to us like we're adults and we're capable of creating change in our own ways. So I think that's something that really helped us see our ideas as something that can benefit society as a whole. So I really loved that part of it. And all the mentors were clearly well trained because they knew exactly how to talk to us. There was a sense of unity within everyone, that they were all alike and yet completely different in their methods of talking and teaching us. So I think that was something I really enjoyed, and your ideas were very creative. I've never seen ideas like this in seminars before. Like I mentioned before, the use of psychology or the storytelling method, which is, they're just very subtle ways to show how you should work as a leader. So I really love those aspects of it.
Thank you, Tanya. We loved having you. So thank you for those wonderful comments. We'll just take 2 more and then we'll begin. Aditi.
Okay, so definitely one of the things that I really got out of this conference was how I should lead diverse types of teams. Specifically, the situational leadership workshop helped with that. It was really sort of like a breakthrough moment for me, because I understood where I was going wrong and leading in my past leadership experiences and things like that. So that was definitely something really cool that I got out from this.
Thank you, Aditi, and we loved having you. And for all of you who do want to share, please stay in after the presentations are done, and we would love to hear from you, of course, before we end today's call around 10 p.m. But our last comment goes to Suryansh Agarwal.
So I would say the YLC conference is just amazing, because we had done so many activities and they've helped me change myself and my personality, because we have done so many different activities. Like we did the letter activity, then we had presentations on leaders and problem solving. So they're just really nice of how the counselors, they treat you as adults. So that's really nice, because the activities are not just for just the activity time, but it's a full experience which I will carry on for my whole life because of this YLC conference. So I would say it is just amazing, and I'm really excited for the presentations too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Suryansh. So on that note, I would love to thank all of you. And this is, I think, the cue for us to begin. All the parents, all the students who are joining us, I would like to welcome you all for day 7 for the Harvard YLC Youth Lead the Change conference. We have our esteemed guest speaker, and Radhika, I'm just going to put you, I'm going to spotlight you. so that everyone can see you well. So just as an introduction to Radhika, of course, you have a super long introduction, but I'm going to keep it short. Radhika is the joint vice chairperson of the Shri Ram schools in Delhi. She leverages her active contribution in the education space by serving as a member of the board of SRF Foundation. Under the aegis of Shri Educare Limited, an education consulting firm, she has been instrumental in setting up the Shri Ram Millennium Schools in Delhi NCR and the Shri Ram early years. She's also been confirmed by the Mahatma Award for Social Impact 2021 this year, and the Women of the Decade in Community Leadership in December 2019 by the Women Economic Forum. She was also mentioned as one of the change makers in the book Why People Give by Ratna and Suhasini Veera. Radhika earned a degree in Bachelor's of Commerce from Delhi University. She has participated in plays as a lead singer to raise funds for NGOs. Outside of work, she enjoys music, poetry, and she's also a runner, having completed several half marathons. I know that Radhika is also really passionate, and we'll hear about her own foundation called the Karm Trust, which will be working on supporting young girls and women from less fortunate circumstances in the area of education and health, and creating larger awareness on gender equality. So to talk more about the Karm Fellowship, more about giving back, and just to inspire all of us today, Radhika, welcome from the entire Big Red Group and the Harvard YLC team. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rishi, for inviting me. Namaste to everyone. Congratulations to all the students for completing this fabulous program. I think my daughter did this last year and she really, really enjoyed it. This is such an amazing opportunity to come up with projects of change and to have the guidance to make it a reality, actually. I think when I was growing up, we unfortunately never thought of issues around us. But when I see the next generation taking steps towards working on creating positive change, I am overwhelmed and I really do feel hopeful. To all the parents, watching today, I know your children have been working extremely hard for the last 1 week, and they've come up with some great projects. So all the very best to them. And all of them are young leaders in making, and I was hearing them all talk and how much they have learned, and it's fabulous what you all are doing. Many years ago, I was a school student, intently listening to many who came to share their experiences with us in our school. I wondered what made them do the things they did, and often dismissed their stories of failure, struggle, grit, thereby bypassing immense learning opportunities that were available to me. I look back on all those instances with a sense of regret. I am certain that I passed up some great opportunities to learn. Now, many years later, I'm on the other side, an educator, and I see all of you with some amazing stories, abilities, and dreams. And I urge all you children to listen to stories that will motivate you and those that you think might not. But do listen, because I know that each of these stories will have a message in it. Seeing the world from where I do, I celebrate differences. That is something that I hold very dear to my heart. Not just the differences that are visible, but also those that are not. Personality types, aptitudes, abilities, interests, and preferences. It is important to recognize your own differences and revel in them, and in so doing, exploit your potential to the full. Go out there and equip yourself with necessary knowledge and skills so that you can keep meeting the demands of the world that is changing very rapidly. Say yes more than you say no. Become a lifelong learner. Well, while good education is vital, it is equally important to care about the community, because we are social creatures belonging to communities. It is necessary that we work with and for communities that we are part of. So today I shall share my views on giving with you. In my experience, I have seen that it is not the money, but the desire and the will to make a change that matters the most. Don't sit and wait for someone else to make things better. Do it yourself. I do believe that when you come from a position of privilege, which most of you do, there is a joy in making difference to someone else's life. This is what drives me when the purpose is bigger than one's own need. The work that I do, I get to work with some fabulous, inspirational women from remote part of India, and they do motivate me every day. They are redefining India, making every effort to change their own circumstances as well as touch the lives of others in the process. I'm going to share a story with you, a story of this girl called Mana Mandelkar. Do listen very carefully. She belongs to a scheduled caste Dalit family, a community that has traditionally been poorly treated in the past, and in pockets even now they get treated very badly. Her father, a goat herder, was barely able to make his ends meet, burdened with severe financial constraints. She remained determined to complete her education. She used to travel 10 kilometers every day to attend classes in the nearby town and was often harassed by boys, turning the daily commute into a nightmare. 2013 marked a turning point in Mana's life. It was the year she joined college and was introduced to the world of karate. The karate classes provided Mana with self-confidence that she lacked, enabling her to overcome her fear of traveling in public. Determined to make master karate, Mana acquired a black belt in 2 years after her joining the college classes, and soon started conducting free of cost karate and self-defense classes in her schools and colleges in the rural area where she used to live. Even with her limited resources, she is transforming lives of many young women. Today, her organization, which is called Tinka Samajik Sanstha, has positively impacted 50,000 youth and children through life skills and sports. She has paved the way for girls in her community to pursue sports as a legitimate career choice, creating an inspiring pathway of change. To me, she is not only a great sportswoman, but also a dynamic change maker. Her work is rooted in sports as a tool for social development, wherein sports is not just an end in itself, but also a means to drive social change. A youth or icon, she has demonstrated through personal example that sports can break gender barriers and change traditional mindsets. From being the first woman college graduate from a small town village, literally a village actually, Alampur in Madhya Pradesh, to a national level gold medalist in karate and representing our country, India, in Asian championships, Mana has deservingly earned the title of Iron Girl in her community. Here, I related how Mana is making a difference despite facing a lot of hurdles in her life, dealing with her own challenges. She had a clear vision of what she wanted to achieve. Her primary goal was to get educated, a luxury each one of us takes for granted. But following that, she decided that she wanted to help a much larger group of people who possibly were facing similar hurdles as her, but didn't know how to overcome them. You must make use of your education beyond securing degrees and jobs. Try and see how you can impact the world around you to make it a better place. There are many people who aren't as fortunate as us and need our help. Be the change in helping these people live a better life, much like Mana I spoke about. So, where and how did I gather this wisdom? I was listening. Well, from all my experiences in working in the development space for over 15 years, I was imbibing these learnings from my various experiences. Each person that I have had the good fortune of meeting taught me something valuable. My work with the Delhi Craft Council has taught me the value of viewing all stakeholders as equal partners in their journey of growth. Working with the visually impaired at the Blind Relief Association literally opened my eyes to empathy and the negative effect of sympathy. Empathy is our ability to put ourselves in someone else's place and then understand their perspective. Empathy has taught me that all we need to do is to create opportunities for those who require them, and they shall do the rest. I was fortunate enough to have set up the Karm Fellowship last year. It has taught me many new lessons every single day. Most of all, that wisdom is not held by the privileged. I have come across such driven and bright girls, who would have missed out on the opportunity to attend college and to get a job. And this fellowship is enabling that for them. This is one of the most satisfying initiatives that I have been part of in my life. I hope to grow this program to become a positive impact on many more girls who deserve the opportunities to succeed. I must also share something very simple with you, that each one of us is capable of giving. We do not need to wait to be independently wealthy to give. Giving of one's time with the right intent is invaluable, creating opportunities for others even more so. Further, even a cursory reading of the news will show you that wealth gaps are widening world over. And a tiny percentage of population holds the lion's share of the world's wealth, making it imperative for us to lift others if we want to inhabit a happy and a peaceful world. I must also share the learnings from Harvard study that I happened to read said that while spending money on one's own material gain brings happiness, it tends to be short-lived. Longer-term happiness comes from giving to others. So in that sense, money does buy happiness. I will end with some simple truths for all you children. Use your education to better the lives of those less fortunate. Do so with empathy. This is the need of the world, and you can play a role in making it happen. As I mentioned before, the satisfaction you gain from helping others is the highest form of happiness that you can experience. And do remember that each of us is a small part of the universe, capable of affecting a ripple change around us. Be that pebble that starts this beautiful change. Go ahead and conquer the world, and all the very best to all of you for your presentations. I know you guys are very excited about it. Wishing you much love and success as you move forward. Namaste and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bharatram, for that beautiful and really inspiring story that you shared with us. I would love for you to just stay a little longer, of course, to at least maybe see a few presentations and then leave us. But before we let you go, Radhika, we would love to ask you one more question, because, of course, in the end, this is a leadership workshop. I know you talked about giving back, but what does true leadership mean for you?
True leadership means when you first of all, work with people. I always believe that you have to empower people. Leadership is also about having a very clear vision so that your team can execute that vision and make it a reality. Leadership is also about humility, to know and to admit when you don't know. I think that for me is a very important one. I often tell my team, I do not know, I do not understand, please explain. I think leadership is so much more than people make it out to be. It's easy when you understand yourself and when you understand the people you work with. And I think as you start building things, you learn and you grow. Leadership is about also giving back to your team, providing them with as many opportunities as you can. So that's what leadership is to me.
Thank you. Thank you again for those beautiful words. Again, would love for you to stay as long as you can, Radhika, just to see some of these presentations. On that note, I would love to welcome Rohan Shed, who is the Harvard YLC Winter Director, for us to just talk about the origins of YLC, what did the students do in the last 7 days, and we're going to quickly move to our presentations right after. Over to you, Rohan.
Yes, thank you so much, Rishi. So as Rishi's mentioned, my name is Rohan Sheth. I am the chair and director of this YLC conference. And I'm very excited to have been working with all the students here for the last 6 days. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to see their presentations today. I would love to give a little bit of background about YLC as an organization and sort of the curriculum that we've been following over the course of these last 6 days. So YLC was originally founded by Harvard College students who are essentially trying to take the core learnings of leadership that are often taught to higher up executives and bring them to sort of younger children and provide them with the opportunity to take those learnings and make an impact in the world. We really believe that anyone, no matter how old or how young, really does have the opportunity to make an impact. And we are committed to helping young people unlock that potential. Over the last 6 days, we've done a lot of different activities, building various leadership skills, things like public speaking, communicating, problem solving, introspection, all of which have helped our fellow students here today develop these skills and prepare them for both these presentations and for taking on projects beyond this conference. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the rest of my team that's here with me today. And then we'll jump into what you're all waiting for, which is the student presentations. First, I'll give my own introduction, and then I'll just call on my team as they're here. If they could please turn on their cameras and sort of say a word about them and the team that they've been working with, that would be great. So sort of my complete bio is that I am a third-year student at Harvard College. I study applied mathematics and econ. I am from Boston, Massachusetts, and I was working with a project team that was very awesome, a group of 12 students who brought so much passion and energy to each of our meetings, and they will be our last presenters of the day, so I really hope everyone sticks around for them, but they're going to be great, and they were so much fun to work with. But let me turn it over now to my colleague, Ethan Tautafa, if he could give his introduction and say a word about his team.
Yeah, hi guys. My name's Ethan. I'm a third-year student as well at Harvard, studying computer science and philosophy. Like Rohan said, I feel so blessed to be able to have worked with the students this week. I say that every conference I end up learning a lot more than our students do. They teach me so much about what it means to be determined and motivated and have a vision and have a goal and just go out and try to change the world. My project group was awesome, and they have a really, really, really cool initiative that they're working with. So I hope everyone can stick around for their presentation as well.
Yeah, thank you, Ethan. Maybe next we go over to Kimani.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being on this call today. So my name is Kimani Panther, and I'm a second-year student at Harvard studying government. And it's just been great hearing about all the passionate projects our participants are doing and how they will implement these in their communities moving forward. I know today is just a day where they're presenting, but much of the work will definitely be done beyond this conference. And what we've endeavored to do is teach them and give them the skills to take this conference and the things that they've learned to the next level. So it's been great working with them. I've enjoyed the conference, and it's always a good time.
Awesome. Thank you, Kimani. Maybe now we go over to Sara.
Yeah, thank you, Rohan. Hi, everyone. My name is Sara Dahiya. I'm a first year at the college from Panipat, India. And this was my first time as a YLC counselor. Before this, I was one of you guys, an attendee 3 years ago. I think, and I could not have absolutely asked for a better team. So driven, so motivated, had so many ideas. And I'm just so excited for you guys to see what they present. And so good to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Sara. Now over to Anjali.
Hi, I'm Anjali Palapu. I'm a freshman at the college studying social studies, and I'm from Newton, Massachusetts. I worked with an incredible group. They were very, very inspiring and passionate, and I can't wait to see them do such a great job today. And I'm so ready to see what they accomplish in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Anjali. So it looks like that is all we have in terms of our counselors on today, but we had a full team of 11.
We have Trey joining us as well. If you could.
Oh, I did miss Trey. Oh, sorry, Trey. Please go ahead.
Hi guys, sorry about that. I just got back from dropping off my little brother at school. My name is Trey Sullivan. I am a sophomore, which means I'm in my second year at Harvard University studying history and literature. And I've been so excited and honored to work with my group this week. It's been such a great experience. This is now my third conference, and honestly, I can say it's definitely been my best. So I'm super excited for you guys to see what the kids have been working on. Thank you.
Thank you, Trey. And I'm also now, it's all been brought to my attention that Ethan Key is also on. So Ethan, would love for you to give an introduction as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Ethan Key. I'm a third year at the college studying psychology. And I've had the incredible privilege of working with a team that is not only, awe-inspiring in their creativity and innovative ways of thinking, but also their maturity and the poise that they've shown throughout this entire conference. I'm really happy to somehow have my name attached to their incredible presentation. And this has been a really great conference. It's been a pleasure to be working with all these great counselors and especially all these amazing students.
Terrific. Thank you, Ethan. So that, I think, is actually the team that we have on for today. And so without any further ado, I would like to take us into our first presentation. So this is Kimani's team. As I'm speaking, would love it if someone from your team would be able to sort of get your slides up on the screen, and then we'll let you take it away. But sort of as a bit of background about the projects, essentially the task is to find a social issue facing our societies, and thinking about what the problem is and finding a tailored project that is meant to address it. And so for the coming projects, that's what everyone is going to be seeing. And I'll stop talking and let the students take it away and showcase their awesome work.
Hi, welcome to our presentation. So our social issue was animal rights and our project is Happy Paws. So today we'll talk about what our aim and vision is, what the problem is, and what the current situation is like in India, and also what we plan to do from now on. So the aim with which we started our project is we wanted to run a holistic program exclusively in India for the nurture, rescue, adoption, and protection of animals in urban areas. The mission for our project is to make realistic and tangible changes within our communities in regard to the strays. We hope that with our project, our vision in the future is to see an India where strays are properly vaccinated and there is no cruelty done to these animals. There are also laws in place to maintain this.
What are animal rights? The animal rights movement is a social movement that seeks an end to rigid moral and legal distinctions drawn between human and non-human animals, and to put an end to the status of animals as property. The movement has three fundamental principles. They believe that non-human animals have basic interests that deserve recognition, consideration, and protection.
What is the problem that we are facing? In recent times, clashes between humans and animals have increased, and humans are now having a problem in living with animals who are extremely important in society. These clashes are because of the ever-growing population and rapid expansion of human civilization. Because of human greed, animals are suffering and are being exploited for the fashion, entertainment, medicine, and food industries. The rapid growth of human population is causing birds, rodents, and other animals like dogs and cats to leave their habitats. They usually don't have a place to go and end up on the roads and are killed because of accidents.
Solutions. We have come up with two main solutions to solve this problem. Firstly, social media campaigns to raise awareness. In this, we will be hosting educational videos on our page and via Zoom to educate people on this issue. We will also be creating presentations talking about animal rights, laws currently applicable, and why is it important and how our viewers can help animals. Then, on our page, we will post verified news articles about animal laws and any animal dangers in the society. We will also run collaborations and account takeovers to reach a wider audience. We will also hire teenage volunteers and collaborate with social media influencers to drive our message home. Then, we will collaborate with different NGOs and shelters. In this, we will ask them to take part in our adoption and sterilization drives. And we will also be making petitions for changing or better implementation of these laws. Then we will also run crowdfunding events and donation camps for these NGOs and shelters. Then, secondly, adoption and sterilization drives and distribution of color coded reflective collars in cities exclusively for stray dogs and felines. There will be adoption drives for stray dogs and cats in collaboration with NGOs. There will also be sterilization and sanitization of the strays. And there will also be distribution of reflective collars to prevent road accidents. We will do this by sourcing of these collars via the website of Paw Pets India. Each collar will cost rupees 29.
I'd like to begin by saying that India has some of the finest provisions to protect animals. Article 51A of the Indian Constitution states that it is the fundamental duty of each and every citizen to be compassionate towards living creatures. Abandoning an animal under any particular circumstances may lead a person in jail for up to 3 months. According to Section 11, Part 1 of the Prevention Towards Animal Cruelty Act, transportation of animals, whether in any vehicle, in a manner or position in which it can cause the animal discomfort, is a punishable offense. Killing and maiming of animals, including strays, is punishable by IPC Sections 428 and 429 of the Indian Penal Code. Moreover, Section 11, Part 1 of the Prevention Towards Cruelty Towards Animals Act also states that reallocation of strays from their territory is also a criminal offense. So now, the big question really is that despite having such compassionate laws to safeguard animals, why are there repeated instances of animal cruelty? Well, one of the major obstacles is the lack of implementation of these laws. For instance, despite having laws being passed in 2001 for each and every district to have a society for the prevention of cruelty towards animals, hardly any states have them. For example, Maharashtra only began issuing notices to set up an animal welfare society in 2018. Apart from the implementation, basic compliance with regulations to these laws is also an issue. And even if someone pushes for the better implementation of these laws, there is also an issue with the penalties, which are often not commensurate with the offense. For example, under the PCA, in case of first offense, the maximum penalty is rupees 50, and that of the second offense is rupees 100. But the good news is that the government today is taking active measures. A draft has been created to the 60-year-old PCA, which has made a proposal of rupees 75,000 or up to 3 times the cost of the animal to be fined, or a jail term of up to 5 years, or both, if the act of an individual or an organization leads to the death of an animal.
Now that you know that what our project will be doing and what has been done, you shall be wondering, what change will it bring? Well, I'm there to help you. This will give us a large audience base, which will help us in educating people and push for better laws and implementation. It will bring together people willing to put in the work and those that have drive with those who have real-time experience in the field, resulting in high efficiency. Cut the number of accidents that take place and find a lot of these animals a better home. It will also be easier to identify them thanks to the color-coded collars for medical purposes. Sterilization will effectively help in population control, aggressiveness, and cancer risk. Some NGOs that we are planning to work with are People for Animals India, PFA India. People for Animals, also known as PFA, is India's largest animal welfare organization with a nationwide network of 26 hospitals, 165 units, 60 mobile units, and 2.5 lakh members. Hands That Heal Mumbai, HTH Mumbai. Started in 2016, Hands That Heal Animal Care Foundation is a shelter for destitute and injured animals, located outside Panvel near Karnala Bird Sanctuary. Sanjay Gandhi Animal Care Center, SGACC, India's oldest and Asia's largest all-animal shelter. The Sanjay Gandhi Animal Care Center, SGACC, was founded in 1980 from a legacy bequeathed by the late Miss Ruth Cowell of New South Wales, Australia to Sanjay Gandhi.
So, to succeed in our mission, creating awareness is very significant. Here are some ways in which we can spread awareness. Firstly, volunteer at your local animal shelter. Often, when abused animals are taken to a shelter, they are afraid of people. It can take a lot of time and effort to rehabilitate an abused animal. And most shelters have a shortage of staff, so you can go volunteer at any shelter. Secondly, donate money. Consider giving your money to a shelter or even a respectable charity organization that works to raise awareness and prevent animal cruelty. And lastly, report the cruelty. If you see animal cruelty happening, don't just turn a blind eye. Don't try to stop the abuse yourself or put yourself at risk, but do call the police if you are in doubt about what to do. Here are some ways in which we can spread awareness and communicate our views and opinions. We can use Instagram, we can use blog sites, we can use YouTube and LinkedIn to cooperate with NGOs. Here are some sources of funds we can use to get the resources required to succeed in our project. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to Team Kimani for sharing their creative and innovative solution and approach to such an important problem. We'll just keep things moving straight on to the next presentation. So if we could have Team Malaika take over the screen next, the floor is yours.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Great.
Okay, so hi guys. So our project is Cause for the Pause, and this presentation is by Vedika, Arav, Rana, Sunayana, Arya, Pallavi, Arnav, Aditya, Arjun, and Arshya. A dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself. Okay, so the problem we will be tackling is of roadside accidents leading to the death of stray dogs caused by less visibility at night. And our solution to this issue is to provide stray dogs with reflective collars so they're visible in the dark. Okay, so this is basically the table of contents. So we will be first talking about the problem, then why do we care, how can we help, then we'll be describing what reflective collars are, then how do we plan on sourcing collars, so basically fundraising and all, and then the conclusion.
The problem. There are 62 million stray dogs in India. This is a large number, and we must do everything we can to help them. The average lifespan of a stray dog in India is 5 to 6 years. We have to improve this number over the next few years and hope that dogs will improve their lifespan and also in turn improve their livelihood.
Because there not being enough awareness about stray dogs, our group wasn't exactly able to find how many stray dogs have died in India due to roadside accidents. But some information is that 3,442 stray animals got injured in a road accident from 2020 to 2021, and approximately 4,262 strays were injured in Chennai during 1 month in 2016.
Why do we care? It's simple. Dogs are living organisms, or more specifically, a man's best friend. Why give them that stance if we don't follow through with it? I mean, sure, many people adopt stray dogs or they buy more house-friendly dogs as pets to keep them company. But what about all the dogs who get left behind? They have nowhere to go, and they don't have the assurance of 3 full meals a day. And since they can't see well at night, they're more prone to accidents on roads with less lighting, or no lighting at all sometimes. My fellow teammates and I came together to find a solution to this because these dogs are valuable to the ecosystem, and we all just love dogs. Because what's not to love about their infectious happiness?
And so these are some of the pictures of how reflective collars look like.
How can we help? So, as shown by the statistics, this problem has an urgent need for a solution. After plenty of suggestions, the solution that stood out the most was a reflective dog collar. These reflective dog collars will allow drivers at night to spot the dogs and avoid any roadside accidents. We plan to tackle the situation in different cities around our country, and to bring this issue forward, we target NGOs and we aim to fundraise to source these collars.
Reflective collars. What are reflective collars? Reflective dog collars function the same way as a road stud does. Reflective dog collars are designed to provide extra security for your dog when you go out for a walk in low light conditions. The reflective collars are a perfect option if you're worried about your dog's visibility when out walking, as it aids in making your dog more visible in the dark and increases its safety.
The science behind these collars. So basically, these collars work as regular collars for dogs, but what sets them apart is the reflective tape that shines brightly when a car's headlight falls on it. This alerts the driver to the dog's presence in low light conditions and reduces the risk of an accident. Getting a reflective collar for street dogs is a simple and effective way of keeping our city dogs safe. Reflective materials work at night by bouncing back the light from a source. The light from a driver's headlights will go straight back to the driver, who will see the reflective materials really well.
There are many animal welfare organizations in a city. These organizations can be at the forefront of the movement. Creating awareness about the reflective collar is the most essential step. Stray dog needs to be protected at night. The reflective collar should be put at the bus stop and red light so that it can be easily available.
We are going to be distributing reflective collars in 4 cities: Delhi and Gurgaon towards northern India, Mumbai towards the west coast, and Hyderabad towards the south of India. There are over 750,000 stray dogs in these 4 cities, hence giving us a huge opportunity to make a change. Furthermore, most of our teammates are from these cities, so it's going to be easier for us to implement our project.
How we plan on sourcing these collars. So during our very first mock YLC call, Mr. Ranganath from Fuel a Dream taught us about the science behind crowdfunding. Applying the same concepts we learned, we plan to raise funds for these collars through platforms like Keto and Fuel a Dream. We aim at raising about 1,50,000 rupees to buy over 3,000 reflective collars. Each collar costs just 35 rupees. We plan to reach out to animal welfare NGOs in each city we are targeting to help us accomplish our goal. These NGOs will in turn lend us a hand to put the reflective collars onto the stray dogs.
To conclude the presentation, reflective collars will help stray dogs extend their lifespan and help humans avoid accidents with them. It will also help people to be aware of the presence of dogs on the road. It reduces the risk of an accident. We hope to reduce the number of accidents on the road, and we want to implement change. We hope to raise funds for this cause, as it's a cause for the dog's safety and is very important in our hearts. Reflective collars are the cheapest possible way to avoid accidents. Reflective collars are designed to provide extra security. They shine brightly and alert the driver when they are driving, usually in the dark. We hope to connect with various animal welfare organizations and help them connect with them and make them invest in this process. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our presentation.
Please do follow us on Instagram and check out our page. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you to Team Malaika for their presentation. Yet another very creative solution. And so now we'll be moving straight into the third presentation, which is Team Ishan.
Good evening, everyone. We're Team Syahi, which in English translates to ink, and which is a symbol of education for us. So our team is going to talk about these broader topics today throughout the presentation.
Illiteracy is one of the major reasons for poverty, hunger, and so much more. When we literate people, we're not just eradicating poverty, we're investing in the country's future. The main goal of Syahi is to educate underprivileged children who face socioeconomic marginalization. In doing this, it also aims to increase general awareness amongst these children about the basic human rights and other pieces of knowledge that are commonplace and critical to survive in the human society effectively.
The problem our group focuses on is education for underprivileged children. Education is a vital part of one's life because it is what makes you capable of being self-sufficient and being successful. Underprivileged are those who don't even have the basic rights like access to good education, medical, and a safe environment. As change makers, we plan to improve this and enlighten those who need to be enlightened for a progressive world and nation. To bring this to attention to my friends and mentors that less than half of the children aged 6 and 14 go to school in India. Also, as little as 1/3 of children who enroll in school drop out of their school before grade 8. Gender equality is a major barrier in education, which targets girls not going to school. And if families cannot afford education for more than one child, they prefer sending their male children or sons. And that is the reason that out of the 35 million aged children of 6 to 14 years, more than 55% are girls. If we see it as a nation, 40% of India's population is below 18 years, and it stands as the largest in the world. And currently at 400 million, less than half of these children get the blessing of education. If we imagine that all of these children get education, our nation could develop faster than any other country. And that's why our group focuses to make a change by educating the underprivileged.
So what is the solution to this problem? The solution that we think will be most effective is through the creation of a platform where underprivileged children have a pot to learn about a plethora of issues that are highly misunderstood in today's society. These issues range from domestic violence to climate change. How this platform will work is that we will invite multiple speakers who are experienced and knowledgeable about a specific field, and they will go on to educate children of different age groups about them. Why we think that this solution will be helpful is because it will help us increase awareness and break stigmas right from the root. Furthermore, we intend to partner with NGOs and other similar organizations to increase our outreach and get more volunteers.
Right. So other than the main broad problem that we're trying to solve, there are also many sub-problems that fall under it, which have their own specific solutions. Firstly, we have developing a curriculum. We're mainly focusing on educating them on issues prevalent in our society or on topics considered as taboos, such as mental health awareness, menstruation, climate change, child abuse, gender inequality, their rights, and other basic skills. Along with this, we'd also like to focus on subjects like English. Given that our audience would comprise members of different ages, we will be clubbing them into different groups, such as 6 to 8-year-olds, 9 to 11-year-olds, and so on. By doing this, we would be able to customize our modules according to the age group we're looking at. For example, when it comes to a topic like child abuse, we could be talking about something as simple and basic as good touch and bad touch for a younger age group, whereas delve deeper into the topic for an older age group. Next, we have building a platform. So we're looking at following a hybrid model. Firstly, we would use Zoom for carrying out our online webinars, which would enable us to reach out to a large number of speakers from different parts of India with ease. And we'd also be uploading recordings of some of our sessions on our website. Secondly, depending on the COVID situation, we would also organize offline classes at the NGOs to help us interact better with our audience. Next, we have sourcing speakers. We would have a section on our website for volunteers to sign up for teaching these modules. They would also be required to attach a document describing the topics they'd like to talk about and a little bit about themselves. Other than this, we're also looking at collaborating with schools and colleges, as it would be an efficient way to get in touch with multiple potential speakers or volunteers.
So problem number 4 is finding audience member. So who is our targeted audience? Our audience will be the unprivileged people of NGO, orphanages, or just children in need of education, food, or the basic necessities of life. We're going to reach out to them, conduct surveys about what general or social topics people are interested in learning more. Creating relevant content on our social media or website will be one of our main priorities, following the management of offline sessions only when possible. Coming to the point of spreading awareness about our project, we are going to partner up with different non-profit organizations or people willing to help, that is, securing volunteers for our project. We are going to organize community service events, virtual educational sessions, as well as fundraisers. And as most of us are from different places, using platforms like Instagram to promote a project and including willing volunteers around us for the offline sessions is definitely fruitful.
Focusing on our milestones, we have divided it into long-term and short-term goals. In our short-term goals, we plan to initially start by collecting a group of children who do not have access to regular quality education and conducting a few mock sessions. In a month, we plan to reach out to NGOs in different cities and collaborate online sessions. In long-term goals, we hopefully plan to start a hybrid model with offline and online sessions as the situation of the pandemic alleviates. Within 6 months, we plan to expand our volunteer base through registration forms and our target audience by covering a larger number of NGOs and including children who work as domestic help.
Key partners. So there are basically two key partners for us. Speeches and volunteers will come and talk to the audience members about the global issues we're addressing. These speakers or volunteers could be people who are already working in these fields. There could also be students who strongly feel about these issues and would like to contribute their knowledge. NGOs are one of our key partners because we source our target audience from them. They are usually located near the houses of the underprivileged learners so that it's easier for them to come.
So, marketing channels. Gone are the days when the only form of advertisement was newspaper and television. Today's population is influenced by social media channels like websites and Instagram. So, those are the channels we are going to use to spread awareness about this endeavor we have undertaken. We will be focusing primarily on 2 platforms, each with their own features and target audiences that make the platforms unique. So first we have Instagram. Instagram is a great place for us because it connects us to new audiences who take interest in our endeavors. The second platform that we will be using is the website. This is the place where everything about us will be presented to whomsoever shows interest in us. I'll now hand it over to Kashish, who will tell you more about our website.
So our website for Team Syahi is a one-time stop to know everything about this project. So we here we give an overview of the whole project that is here. And we also provide the latest facts and statistics about the education for the underprivileged children. And we also describe about and the problem that we are aiming to solve. We also give people a chance to join the discussion of our community and give their views upon the global issues that we decide to teach children as our curriculum. And we also give people an opportunity to join our community and get in touch with us. Thank you. Thank you. And a special thanks to Ishan, who has helped us throughout and taught us many things about the presenting techniques, main things to focus on, and so much more. So thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so much to the team for the presentation. Yet another really awesome presentation on another really important topic. And so let's move on next to Team Ethan K. The floor is yours.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
A very pleasant evening to one and all present over here. This is Ishita Arora. So I'm going to just start off this presentation by spelling out a statement which was given by Simon Bales back in 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Put mental health first, because if you don't, you're not going to enjoy your sport. You're not going to succeed as much as you want to. So sometimes it's okay to sit out even the big competitions. It's okay to put yourself first and focus on yourself, then to just battle through it, because that is what shows that how strong of a competitor and of a person you are. Keeping that thought in mind, we as change makers and the leaders of the future present to you Be It, which literally means home in Hebrew. And that is exactly the intention that we have behind the name, to have a home, a safe space for every student who is suffering through mental health issues all around the country. So now moving on to the table of contents, this is what we're going to look at throughout this presentation today, our mission and vision. Then we're going to talk about the problem that we're trying to address, then the solution we propose, the key features of our solution, how do we plan on implementing that solution, and lastly, the team behind the idea.
As the saying goes, home sweet home. Our mission is to create a safe place online for every student going through mental conditions, allowing them to understand the vulnerabilities. Understand that it is normal for humans to feel vulnerable, understand that they are not alone. Leveraging on the support from their community, we help students feel better about themselves. Next, for our vision as a team, we envision Project Be It to create a world where students are mentally healthier in the sense that they recognize their vulnerabilities, understand that it is normal, and ask for help when they need it without being scared or shy of being judged.
Moving on to the problem statement. All of us notice that in our common community surroundings, especially in our school, students often face mental health issues. They're often depressed and anxious. Why does that happen? It's because they don't have time for self-care and introspection, which means that they're not able to discover their passion and do what actually they love. Why does that happen? It's because of extra load of schoolwork and extracurricular activities. And somehow, because of that extracurricular activities and extra load, they are not able to manage their time properly, which leads to mental health issues. Moving on to the statistics, approximately 92% of the students go through some kind of mental health struggles. The most common being anxiety, depression, trouble concentrating, and the inability to cope. Also, 72% of the people had a stronger impact on life satisfaction after using time management techniques. Here are some of the glimpses of what students in our local communities have got to say about time management and mental health. Most of them did say that because of extra schoolwork, they are not able to find time for themselves and discover their passions.
So what exactly is the solution that we are proposing here? Our solution is basically an app which would provide modern time management tools to students through an AI-based calendar system, usage of Pomodoro technique, and every user's experience will be tailored according to their MBTI personality type. The Pomodoro technique uses a timer to break work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. The app, through its time management tool, will just prevent students from engaging in work right before their deadline, which we think is the sole reason for stress and hence mental health issues.
Now, I would like to talk about our audience, that is the communities that we serve. We mainly hope to serve middle school, high school students, and the students who are being homeschooled. Now, I shall move on to the key features of our app. So what makes our solution and app unique and stand out from the rest? Unlike many apps out there, which are designed with a one-type-fit-all approach, our team incorporates the idea of personalized time management techniques and tips. Everyone is different, and personalizing the app according to the user allows our users to gain most out of the app. We personalize the app to users according to their MBTI personality, which is a tool used to understand people's communication preference and how they interact with others. Hence, for example, people with the INTP personality are usually very logical and analytical, who have a thirst for knowledge. Thus, the app caters to them specially by creating some time for them to learn and grow their knowledge on a diverse selection of topics.
Now, allow me to walk you through the user journey, which basically means that how exactly the app would look like if you use it in a very tangible way. So on the left side of the slide, you can see the home screen of the app, which says, "Welcome back, Chris. Let's see what we have in store for you today." So that's exactly how the app is going to work for you. It's going to curate the to-do list for the day right from the morning for you. Moving on, let me just walk you through how the app would function in the initial phases. So the first screen is just the logo, and the second screen, you would be required to log in or sign up. And while doing this procedure, you would have to put in your schoolwork, extracurricular activities, and other commitments and prioritize them so as we could offer you the best experience possible. The second step would be to take the MBTI personality test, because as we have asserted before, our time management tools are very catered to specific MBTI personality types of users. So you would have to take the test so that we could develop the tools according to your specific MBTI personality. So that is how the app will look like if you use it in real time.
Moving on to how we'll actually implement this solution. First things being first, one of the paramount processes in the implementation of a strategy would be to actually incorporate stakeholders, talk to psychologists, MBTI, and time management specialists to offer a qualitative experience to our users. And the subsequent and very crucial step would be to program this app in real life, which we plan on doing through the use of programming language called Swift.
The next step of the implementation phase is marketing. We aim to start by spreading awareness using posters and flyers on a ground level, and we then aim to transition to online marketing to broaden the app's scope. Like any other service, our app will have to be marketed in order to bring on users. At launch, our chosen target audience includes students of schools in our local communities. We aim to use a simple method of posters and flyers to make overburdened students cognizant about the service and how they can benefit from it. In the future, we aim to broaden the reach of our app towards students across the country and eventually across the world. To do this, we aim to make use of online advertising features on social media platforms such as Instagram. To increase our credibility, we also aim to reach out to healthcare professionals such as doctors, therapists, psychologists, as well as NGOs working in the field of mental health to advertise our app.
So moving on to the future goals, we plan on expanding our reach. We plan on expanding our app to other schools with the help of funding, and this can be through crowdfunding as well. We will be talking to experts to finalize the app. We will be incorporating educational tools with the concept of fun with learning. We will be speaking with schools to better tailor schedules and to introduce the concept of hands-on educational content to school-specific environment.
So as Samira just talked about our fun with learning concept, which is actually a long-term goal that we intend to accomplish in the app, we did design a prototype which would give you an insight into what that would look like. So this is like the Avengers venturing into the law of diminishing marginal utility. For those who haven't really studied economics and are not aware of the law of diminishing marginal utility, it basically implies that more and more you consume of a good, the satisfaction you derive from it decreases with every subsequent unit that you consume. So let's just say I start having pizza every day despite it being my favorite food. Eventually, I will start losing interest in eating pizza. So that is the the decrease in the satisfaction that I'm deriving from pizza. So if you have a look here, a careful look, the Avengers are kind of not getting that kind of satisfaction in winning the 5th or the 6th war and fighting the bad guys as they did the first time. So this is how we plan to communicate the concepts that we're taught in school in a very fun, engaging manner.
Drawing towards the conclusion, I would like you to meet the team who have put their heart and soul into the project. Our heartiest thanks to our mentor, Ethan Key, who has been so kind, resourceful, and an amazing mentor. We have been so lucky to have you here. Also, our special thanks to every mentor out here at YLC, Rishi, and the BRG for making this learning experience the time of our lives.
Thank you. I really hope that we were resourceful and that we were able to make an impact on all of your hearts. Thank you.
Awesome job, Team Ethan K. Thank you guys so much for sharing. And now we'll jump over to Team Trey and Ryo.
Good evening, everybody. Samvad, meaning conversation. It is what enables us to express our thoughts and ideas to another person. It is every human's right to be able to effectively communicate, and our team works towards teaching young children how to do so. Our team believes that we must not take our privilege for granted, but instead make use of it to help people who did not get the same opportunities that we did. While brainstorming for our project, we went through a variety of ideas, but eventually found a common cause that was feasible for all of us and was something that we could all fully contribute towards. After a thorough root cause analysis and by using the SMART goals framework, we were able to formulate a comprehensive plan that's realistic and attainable within a reasonable time frame to implement our idea and are excited to bring it to life. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Project Samvad, a literacy program working towards teaching effective communication and fluency in English speaking, specifically for young children who do not have exposure to this sphere of self-development. In our presentation, we'll be talking about our aim, the problem that we'll be addressing, our solutions to that problem, our plan of action, followed by details about our finances and marketing.
Our aim in Project Samvad is to encourage holistic development in young children. We aim to making them better communicators and help them articulate their thoughts and ideas confidently in public.
So the problem that we were encountered with was of poor communication, English communication skills in government school children in India. Even though a lot of government schools now are providing quality education, they are yet to accomplish an environment where children can practice speaking in English. Communicating in English is extremely instrumental in a child's development. And therefore, through our project, we aim to develop these much needed skills for a good English Samvad.
Could you open the statistics slide? The following numbers help us understand the problem more deeply. As you can see, only 16% of grade 1 students can read their grade level textbook. And of those, a majority are 7 to 8-year-olds, with the younger children in the class lagging behind. Only 10% of the people in the entire country speak English, with 3% from rural areas. So there's a clear class element at work, as 41% of rich could speak English against less than 2% of the poor.
So why is effective communication important? Communication is one of the most essential social skills required for any individual to survive in the world. Effectively communicating ensures that you not only convey your message to someone, but also lets them know your feelings and emotions. Effective communication also helps bring together all members in your team and your organization to achieve the desired outcome. By delivering messages clearly, there's no room for misunderstanding or altercation of messages. So, whether it's amongst family, friends, or colleagues, effective communication helps individuals get through the tasks of life with ease.
A solution to this problem is to instill communication skills in our targeted students through various exercises and activities. They should be able to put their points forward respectfully, and alongside that, use reciprocal teaching methods, which is switching roles of teachers and students to amplify the learning experience. You will know more about its implementation through a plan of action.
So the first step to our plan of action is to create a basic curriculum that we will be teaching the students. We would list out a few activities, exercises, and tasks that we can give the students to help them practice and become better communicators. We could conduct a trial with a few known people, and on receiving their feedback, we could update and better our curriculum. Once we finalize our curriculum, we will begin working on our website so that it will be easier for the students and all those who are interested in our work to see how we function and what we do. Next, there would be a book donation drive. We would send out a message to collect books that are in good condition but no longer in use to donate to the students, specifically collecting basic English medium books.
The next step would be reaching out to different NGOs and telling them about our project and vision. We will find NGOs which are near us in our own cities and have students from the demographic which we are aiming for, which is young teens. Once we have found the right NGO, we will go to the NGO to conduct weekly sessions. Right now, we are planning to teach around 75 students and will increase the number depending upon the success of our workshops. We will conduct these sessions after the COVID situation eases, as we feel conducting sessions offline will create a greater impact to the students.
Talking about the finances, we've identified four major parts that play a vital role. Firstly, coming to the transport, that will include the transport of the team and sub-teams that will do the workshop around various cities and various regions across India. Secondly, resource material such as books and pencils that will be used for all of the activities that are done for the development of communication within these communities. Thirdly, manpower. All the laborers or all the people who want to help for a certain price will also fall into this category. And finally, a location. A location is key over here because it will help us determine where to connect and conduct these workshops in a more effective manner.
Now coming to marketing. Good marketing is the key to an organization's success, and therefore we at Samvad have decided to use social media, newsletters, and our website to reach out. We will be using our website to provide our potential donors with all the information they need about our establishment. Social media will be a way to let our clients know about all recent as well as past activities that Samvad has been involved in. Finally, we will also be using leaflets and newsletters to voice our existence and also to reach out to those who are not very well acquainted with tech. With this, we sum up our presentation, which could not have been possible without the effort and hard work of our team and the incredible support shown by YLC. We'll now like to open the mic for questions, and also please feel free to connect with us via the given email ID. Thank you.
Awesome job by the team. Thank you guys for another great presentation. Let's now move into our presentation by Team Ethan T.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. Go ahead.
Greetings, respected chief guests, Ms. Radhika Bharatram, Mr. Rishi, and all members of the Big Red Group, to all the mentors and my dear peers. They say that education is the mother of leadership. So, for our social change project, we have decided to tackle the topic of educational reform. Our project's name is Operation Shiksha, a step towards better education, stemming from the Hindi word Shiksha, meaning education, to show our commitment to providing better and equal education to all. Before we get into the details of our project, first let us start off with a brief introduction about who we are. We are a 10-member group with our wonderful mentor, Ethan Tautafa, and we're a group of passionate teenagers from all around India who want to make change. Here at Operation Shiksha, we believe that whether you are addressing healthcare, poverty, population control, unemployment, or human rights, there's no better place to start than in the corridors of education. Hence, we are committed to providing awareness and skill-based education to children all around India.
According to the SDG 4 of the 2030 Agenda, which aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, since most of the social issues stem from education, our vision is to create a better everyday life for the underprivileged by providing them quality education and making them self-sufficient. Moving on to our mission. As for our mission, it is extracted from our vision. We want to make education equally accessible to all people, regardless of their socio-economic backgrounds.
All right, so I'm just gonna kick us off with some statistics. For example, during COVID, did you know that only a full one in five rural children did not have textbooks for school? Or that a full 1 in 3 did not participate in any learning activity in a given week? These failures highlight the faults in our aging education system, and this is what we hope to address with our initiative. Right? So really there are 3 main reasons for this. 1, a lack of infrastructure. 2, a lack of awareness. And 3, a lack of adequate teaching. So we'll start with infrastructure. Many government schools do not have science labs or even internet access, which usually limits the learning a child can experience, given that the internet is a huge repository of virtually all kinds of information. This is largely due to a poor implementation of the Right to Education Act, alongside little and meager funding directed towards schools. Then there's a lack of awareness. Social stigmas regarding issues like mental health mean that very few people are actually willing to talk about it, and even fewer are willing to educate others about it. Even in areas like climate change, which is openly taught in schools, very few people are actually aware about it because it's taught in a dry, boring, and dull manner. Lastly, there's a lack of adequate teaching. The CBSE, the board which runs our schools, was established in British rule in 1929, which is almost 100 years ago. And this leaves our curriculum dated and inadequate to address modern issues such as gender equality and climate change.
Coming to the solutions that we as Operation Shiksha propose. Firstly, we would like to promote a more skill-based education by integrating vocational courses like home science, computer science, sewing, agriculture into government schools and making it mandatory for all children to engage in this activity. We'll also like to call upon college students and school students to engage upon the importance of this activity and have various internships and part-time opportunities for students above the age of 14 to practice the skills that they've been taught. Additionally, we'd like to provide counselors to the government students so that they can decide what stream they want to take up, whether it be science, humanities, or commerce, and ensure that they're not forced into a particular stream and it's based upon their interest. Additionally, we'll also help organize fundraisers to ensure that all students have access to NCERT books and carry out old book collection drives to help the students, and frequently pair up with organizations to conduct awareness seminars regarding mental health, menstruation, harassment, gender equality, etc.
Now let us talk about what the children need to be taught apart from the academic and intellectual curriculum. Financial literacy. Finance is growing as a rather important sector which can't be neglected in today's world. We will make them realize the importance of the privacy of bank details and other financial instruments to avoid theft and phishing. We will teach them about microfinance and operation of markets, teach them the value of investing in the long run, mutual funds, etc. Citizenship. It is important for everyone to know the nation they live in, the fundamental rights they are entitled to, and actions we need to practice. We intend to invoke a sense of patriotism and what our Constitution truly stands for. Be vocal about their own problems. We did not get to see their side of the plate, so perhaps there are issues they are dealing with that have not come out to the wider public. We will assist them to create a cooperative and address their problems in the right way. Connect them with professional counselors. There are some fragile and sensitive areas like mental health and stress where we as students may be unprofessional about and need help ourselves. So we will tie them up with professional counselors and act as an emissary between them.
Our plan forward. We plan on providing books and other study material to students by fundraising money and by working with NGOs, coaching centers, and other organizations who help similar causes. We also plan on spreading awareness about the student difficulties and how you can help us solve them through our website and other social media platforms, as well as through a seminar which will be hosted by us based entirely on this topic. We plan on helping students understand the matter better and get better opportunities by working with coaching centers to provide them with scholarships and by helping them get in touch with students from colleges, universities, and others who can help them understand the matter better and with any difficulties that they have.
These are some of our future plans. We plan to help more children. After our plan to give books to some students, we plan on focusing on a much larger scale. We also plan on working with more NGOs. We plan on collaborating with more NGOs to make a bigger change in these children's lives. We also plan on educating more people. We plan on educating more people and giving them so this problem will not be ignored.
Target. So we all came together and decided what are the basic facilities a child needs. And keeping that in mind, we came up with firstly a basic set of NCRTs, which is a must for every child in India, which would cost us around 700 rupees. After this, next was stationery supplies, under which we added notebooks, pens, pencils, sharpeners, and erasers, which totaled to 760 rupees. And we finally came up with bags, pouches, which would cost us around 250 rupees. And since our target is to help around 50 students, we came up to the total of 85,500.
Our first small-scale goal is to gain funds through friends and family, which will create a solid foundation for the project. We will then aim to raise money via platforms such as Fuel a Dream, in which we'll be able to use crowdfunding to our advantage. We can also conduct shows through social media platforms to raise money in addition to crowdfunding. We also aim to give children the necessary school supplies for learning, such as books and stationery. We can do this by collaborating with wholesalers and getting these supplies.
Now that we have been acquainted with the problems and the solution, the next step is how we could get them to the right exposure to the world. Well, we have narrowed it down to the 4 possible collaborations we could do. Firstly, get in touch with government and private schools to provide a seat at one of those schools so that they could have the thinking process more concrete with the help of the platform. Secondly, coaching institutes play a crucial role in the high school students' life, and getting them resources and providing them the best faculty would be a priority. Thirdly, get in touch with donors who could fund their college education as it's a bit tight for their parents. And lastly, one could upgrade themselves through online or offline courses through Udemy and other platforms. So providing them courses to enhance themselves as a person will also be on our list. And these all should make an impactful change in the underprivileged youth. We have also created a website. Our team of Avnish has created a website which just focuses on all of this. Next slide. Now that we have come to an end of the presentation, I hope all of you would have understood our aim and work procedure to how we are going to create an impactful change in the youth. On the ending note, I'd like to thank our mentor Ethan T for guiding us and being like a friend to us all the time. We are incredibly grateful to the Harvard YLC. Thank you.
Awesome job. Thank you guys so much for your presentation. Let's move on now to Team Afia.
Good evening, everyone. This is our pitch for the YLC conference. Our social project name is the Learning Curve, and our project mentor group, and our group project mentor is Afia. We are a team of 9 passionate young change makers from different cities. This is our team.
Let me get us started with the introduction. There are two sides to the statue of women in India today. She's a mother, a goddess, an entrepreneur on one hand. Yet, she's also an oppressed, subdued, not exposed to the modern world, wage earner during minuscule jobs on the other hand. How do we bridge this gap? How do we give equal opportunities to young girls who have minimal to no resources of modern world technology? How do we bring out their potential? We all know that education is one of the most essential parts of life. But unfortunately, there are only a handful of people who receive education in our world. In this presentation, we are going to discuss about girls in the rural areas who have not been exposed to the digital part of our world. Often girls usually hear a ton of stereotypes around them, like technology is a very masculine area, girls won't be able to handle it. The primary reasons why girls drop out of school is that they are engaged in domestic activities, they have financial constraints, they are not interested in education, and they get married. Only 1 in 6 people engaged in the digital economy is a female. This pattern of inequality hinders the development of rural women, who play a key role in driving agricultural productivity and guaranteeing the stability of their family.
Our project, The Learning Curve, aims to advocate for literacy amongst women in the rural city of Jaisalmer. One of our primary aims is digital education, and we here at The Learning Curve plan to educate and give opportunities to girls so that they can receive global digital exposure. This is exceptionally consequential in the long run, as a continuous lack of fresh perspective will not get us anywhere as a society. Secondly, we wish to have more women integrated into technology to create a better, more diverse, and more innovative digital world. As humans, we are bound to evolve, but if we continue to deny girls crucial factors in society's apparatus, rudimentary rights such as equality in education, it would seriously hamper our progression.
So how are we going to achieve this? We're firstly going to start with an education campaign for the parents. Parents' approval is quite important and thus the key to the success for this venture. Out of the parents who are convinced, we'll ask them to enroll their girl child so that we can help educate them. The ones who are dubious about this and are disinterested in enrolling their girl child, we will then take a short survey with them which would address their concerns and later on try to solve them. Our education campaign would include benefits, explaining them how money lending can be easy, how they will not go into debt, daily basic functions such as bank checks, vaccination entries, which will also get easier if their girl child is educated.
The second solution is to provide resources like books, computers, and creating awareness on digital technology. We are planning to provide the girls with computer books, computers, and stationery so that they will be able to learn and educate themselves using them. Many interesting computer books can interest them to explore more on different topics and also work on devices later on. Educating them on STEM concepts, telling them how beneficial it is another thing we are planning to implement. And finally, familiarizing them with technology and making them believe that talented and ambitious women like them is what the world needs. Awareness on how digital technology have already benefited various strata of the society and making them aware of platforms that are available for them to showcase their talent and skills would be advantageous to them.
As mentioned earlier, one of the biggest problems that we face is that parents in rural areas are not keen to send their daughters to school because they think that it's not worth their time, effort, or money. So in order to nudge them and change their mentality to allow their daughters to come to school, we have to show them that what's in it for them. So how are we going to do that? What's going to be our USP? The simple rule of the business world is that if you have to sell a product, you have to convince the customer that they are at an advantage and emphasize your pitch on their gain. We will tell them that we will provide the girls with free lunches and evening snacks, like the midday meals that the government started, so that they save on the money they spend on their food. Moreover, we will also provide them with a set of clothes during winter, so their cost on buying warm clothes for their daughters will also go down. Eventually, we will also pitch them by telling them that we will further incentivize them by taking care of their water and electricity bills if they allow their daughters to come to school. So now we are telling them that they save on a lot of money by sending their daughters to school. And after their daughters get educated, they can easily get jobs and start earning, which will improve their standard of living. And they will also be more respected in the society.
We have made posters which can be a good way to attract the audience. We have also made a poster in Hindi, as most of the people don't know how to read English. By making a poster in Hindi, we will be expanding our reach even further, which can impact more and more girls. How will we advertise? Young girls in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan barely receive any formal education from parents. Jaisalmer has the lowest rate of girls receiving any education. We at the Learning Curve have a saying, which is education for all. So we aim to raise 5 lakhs for these young girls, providing them with computers so that they can learn whatever they want on the computer. We will also teach the girls on how to use the computer and will also be educating them on STEM and its application in the real world. We will also be encouraging their parents to run awareness program so that they can send their child for formal education too. For this project, we have narrowed it down to two girls because in Indian rural areas, girls don't get the same treatment as boys and even sometimes don't get any education. We hope to raise awareness on this problem and help young girls learn. Follow us on Instagram at The Learning Curve and on Facebook at The Learning Curve for more updates and to keep track of our progress on trying to achieve our goals.
So our total available market is 1,15,000 girls, which is around 25% of the female population for 6 to 16-year-old. Our serviceable available market is 23,000, which is out of the TAM. We're assuming 25% of them do not have access to the education due to several reasons we've discussed before. Our serviceable obtainable market is in year 1 would be 250, year 2 500, and year 3 1,000. So our target audience is gender, female, age 6 to 16-year-olds, education, maybe some would have studied till elementary school, geographic location, Jaisalmer, India, which is a village in Rajasthan, lifestyle, daughters are currently trapped helping their parents in the household work, which restricts them from going to school or studying. Parents that are also forced to bring their daughters into their work. Families stressed because they have no money to do what they want to, and thus they're forced to stay at home and include their daughters into their work. So the reasons for solution would be, the reason is to change their lifestyle. They want to make a change, even if it would be small, do their life and try to make more money. As an old proverb states, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. As one gets educated, the family finds it easier to learn and progress forward too.
So the most important part comes here. We have the problem, we have our goal, and we have the solution. Brit, how do we finance this? So we decided that we're not going to play it very optimistic, and we came to a number that we would try to raise 5 lakh rupees in 6 months. And we will do it through a fundraising platform at Fuel Dreams. Now, what's the breakage of this 5 lakh rupees? So we decided that we're going to raise 65% of this money, which rounds up to 3,25,000 rupees through crowdfunding. 25%, which is 1,25,000 rupees, is going to be raised by us by pitching it to our family and friends. If we divide this amount into 9 people, it's around 14,000 rupees. And we thought that we can give this much, contribute this much to this cause. And the rest 10% is going to be raised by angel investors, which rounds up to 50,000 rupees.
Educating women in rural areas about STEM has a lot of benefits. Firstly, providing women with the tools to be successful in their future endeavors in higher education and careers. Secondly, improving women's access to technologies can help raise their status in their communities, leading to greater autonomy and access to information. It also gives women the power to advocate for sustainable practices and, in turn, lower mortality rates during natural disasters. Tech can not only be life changing, it can also be life saving. Thirdly, it allows women to create and personalize their own platforms. This is important because many existing platforms and apps do not serve to the needs of rural women and do not account for language and literacy behaviors. Fourthly, providing women with endeavors and opportunities can not only help bring a fresh perspective to a lot of global issues, but also expand the diversity of workplaces in India and provide people with more creative lens to view problems. Thus, empowering girls and women to enter STEM is an imperative.
Here are some long-term goals that we are aiming for. Higher integration of women into literate society. We also want to change the mentality of people that think the technical work is just for men and women can also do it. Thank you.
So to summarize our discussion, we have plotted a timeline to explain the continuation of the learning curves agenda. First and foremost, we pitch our project. It begins with everyone here at YLC and proceeds to other individuals, such as angel investors, to help better understand our agenda and endgame. We do this with the help of PowerPoints and verbal communication. We also look to promote our movement on various platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp. Secondly, we do need proper financial backing to proceed with the project. Hence, we can look at crowdfunding websites such as fueladream.com to help us raise money and awareness with the help of family, friends, and other individuals willing to donate. Our current aim is 5 lakh rupees. With this money, we aim to provide stationery, resources, teachers, and advice to girls over the course of 3 months. We wish to coordinate with NGOs in Jaisalmer that have connections to all girls' schools or even up-and-coming schools. We also hope to gain more volunteers to help us with our non-profit initiative. Finally, the learning curve aims to raise a minimum of 20 lakh rupees by 2024. We are confident that our initiative will open the eyes of parents alike and the dusty textbooks sitting on the shelves of abandoned schools. Now, Kea is going to conclude for us.
To sum up, to tackle the problem, we will be organizing education campaigns for parents, use the money obtained in the crowdfund to handle the expenses of the resources of the school by providing them basic stationery material as well as in time proper technology. Now to conclude, if you educate a child towards violence, they will grow up to think that peace is a crime. At the end of it all, education is the key. The moral of this project is simply to empower women, promote gender equality, because as Kofi Annan said, and I quote, to educate girls is to reduce poverty, unquote. Our world is moving at a very fast pace in terms of technology, and it is completely unfair that these girls are deprived of the most basic advantages it offers. The learning curve, therefore, opens the doors to the STEM world for such young girls. As the former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama once said, and I quote, no country can ever truly flourish if it stifles the potential of its women and deprives itself of the contribution of half of its citizens, unquote. Thank you.
And I think before we end our presentation, we would sincerely like to thank Mr. Rishi, Mr. Rohan, and a special thanks to Afia for her constant support and guidance, and even all the other mentors for keeping their patience while we were doing the activities and helping us in making this possible, because it really wouldn't have been possible without your support. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, terrific work by the team. We thank you again for your great work. Moving on to the next team, if we could have Team Sara, the floor is yours.
Evening, we are Project Do Good, a group of 10 high schoolers, and we aim to be the voice of stray, homeless, and starving dogs. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated." How many of you have seen street dogs sleeping under or on cars or searching for food in dumpsters or even worse, chewing plastic out of hunger? Whether it is monsoon or pandemic, dogs, most adorable creatures on the earth, have to become victims. You can't help everyone, but you can help at least one dog. I will hand it over to Ada to take it further.
Thank you, Nandini. Our project plans on helping dogs in two ways. Firstly, we are going to create a safe space for dogs on the streets to save them from the harsh weather conditions. We will do this by the help of makeshift beds. Secondly, to provide proper nutrition and food to dogs, we plan to implement food drives. I would like to pass it on to Nabil to explain it further.
Thank you, Ada. Our team divided the problem into two parts. Let us have a look at the first part of the problem. Imagine if it's raining, we have our homes to retire to, but there are numerous stray animals who don't have the same option. In this project, we focus particularly on stray dogs. During heavy rains, stray dogs have nowhere to reside and they seek shelter in odd places. In these times, a lot of stray dogs may meet with accidents. In 2018-19, around 2,203 stray dogs met with accidents, according to Nagpur Municipal Corporation's Veterinary Department. Moreover, the department estimates that there has been a rise in such accidents by 23% in the last 6 years. I'll pass it over to Inayat to explain the second part of the problem.
Thank you, Nabil. The other aspect of the problem is that food for stray dogs. Stray dogs have the right to food and citizens have the right to feed them. The lockdown had created havoc on stray dogs that have to depend on human activity for their subsistence. Some thousands of street dogs and stray cattle depend on hotels, fast food centers, fruit markets, and push carts for their food. With the city closing down completely for several days, many stray dogs were dying of hunger. With no source of food, the animals suffer in silence. And now I would like to pass it on to Hiba to discuss the SMART goals.
Thank you, Nayat. The solution that our project proposes has its goals tailored to align with the SMART goals. To be specific, our main goal is to make the lives of the stray dogs a little better and safer by providing them with makeshift beds and safe hygienic food. It is measurable. We hope to help almost 1,200 stray dogs from different parts of India, 100 dogs each month from 10 different cities. It is achievable because our annual budget will be achieved through starting a crowdfunding campaign and investing Rs 2,000 of our own. We will also be working with shelters, schools, and veterinary hospitals for the drives and makeshift beds. It is relevant because in India we have around 62 million stray dogs. That means we have 62 million dogs that do not have a shelter and a constant daily source of food. Time-based, we plan to help at least 250 dogs in the coming 3 months and 950 dogs in the coming year. Thank you. Now I would like to hand it over to Navya to further make us understand about the solutions.
Thank you, Hiba. So our team divided the solution into two parts. The first part is the shelter. So the makeshift bed will consist of an open iron coop and a tarpaulin sheet. Since the already existing beds for the dogs can only serve well indoors, it's necessary for us to have beds which prove to be firm, durable, and lasting. The tarpaulin sheet, which acts as a roof, will be attached to the cage in a way that the dog is well protected from the rains as well as the strong winds. Construction. The beds will be made by the carpenters, especially those who were rendered out of work due to the pandemic. And the bed will be made with high quality, strong, sustainable materials in order for it to withstand harsh weather conditions and at the same time be eco-friendly. Now I pass it on to Harshal to talk about the second part of the solution.
Thank you, Navya. Now for the second part of the solution, food drives. Food is a basic need for every living organism, but it has been very hard for these street dogs for finding a good source of food. We plan on collaborating with dog shelters and animal shelters by providing them with food resources for the drives to feed the stray dogs, and also by informing them about the localities where the stray dogs are in large numbers. We will also be doing drives with school where we plan on asking schools to organize drives for delivering safe food to the dogs by encouraging their students to donate and even accompany a company for the drives to the locations. Now to Shreya.
Thank you, Harshal. In order for us to build the shelters and conduct the food drives, we are going to need funds. We plan to go about it through crowdfunding. The cost of making one shelter is approximately 1,400 rupees. Since we plan to build 50 shelters for a start and kickstart the food drives, we will be needing at least 80,000 rupees. For crowdfunding, our message will include the problems faced by the stray dogs throughout the country and how people can change their lives for the better by making even a small contribution. We plan to work alongside leading organizations like Fuel a Dream in order to raise the necessary funds. Now, let's invite Jonathan to discuss the social presence of the project.
Thank you, Shreya. Now, for our project to have a wider reach, we have designed an Instagram page and a website that will act as media, allowing more people to be aware of our initiative. So please do support us by considering following and sharing our Instagram page with your friends and family. This support will allow us to act towards the betterment of many stray dogs. I'll now pass it on to Arjun to explain our long-term goals. Arjun, go on.
Thank you, Noeth. So our long-term goals will include expanding this project and taking it to more states and regions by June 2020, so that more dogs could be covered under the project. We also hope to expand rural areas by July of 2020 to further services of stray dogs there. We expect to achieve the same within 7 or 8 months, and by August 2020, we hope to help 250 stray dogs in both urban and rural areas. By the end of this project, we hope to have been able to remove the inability for stray dogs to get food and to provide stray dogs with shelters.
We thank each and every one of you for the time you have dedicated to allocate for our presentation. I would also like to thank my team members, Ada, Arjun, Hiba, Inayat, Nabil, Navya, Shreya, and Harshal for putting their heart and soul into this project. I would also like to give myself a pat on the back for the same. Most importantly, though, as students who are constantly trying to improve on our caliber, we are extremely grateful to our mentor, Sara Dahiya, for she was, is, and always will be a significant part of our journey to impact the lives of many, many living beings in a very positive manner. Thank you, Sara. And of course, once again, thank you all.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to the team for the presentation. Yet another great one. Now the floor will go over to Team Anjali. Please take it away, guys.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about Pride Party, which is about homophobia. We decided upon this topic as we felt that everyone avoids talking about this, and we felt more light should be shed upon it. The topics we'll be covering in this presentation are what is homophobia, homosexuality in India, what caused it, what can be done about it, solutions which are generic and narrow about our event, finance conclusion, and a token of gratitude. This video, you can see, is filmed by one of our friends who has come out to talk about her experience being bisexual.
Gorangi, and I identify as bisexual. I'm Gorangi, and I identify as bisexual. The Indian society is not the best when it comes to LGBT acceptance. Most people here use religious or pseudoscientific arguments to justify their intolerance, and others are unabashedly and openly hateful. But even in my limited 4-year experience, I've noticed a lot of improvement. A dialogue has been started in India due to positive representation of our community in media. And because of this, the youth is aware. And those who aren't are willing to learn and listen. They are willing to empathize with us and let go of their preconceived notion. I recognize that I'm privileged to be part of an urban and progressive society. I've faced no homophobia in my life, and I've been validated and supported by my peers. And being in this safe space, I tend to forget that homophobia and transphobia still exist. We have a long way to go. Marriage is still a straight privilege, and we have to deal with discrimination, hate crimes, and bigoted politicians who push their agenda into the legislature, which affects us all. We have a long way to go, but I have hope because the youth leads change, and change is already happening.
It truly is heartbreaking to hear that people still suffer hate for being who they are. To understand why this happened, let's first understand what is homophobia.
To commence with our project, we first have to understand that what is homophobia. Homophobia encompasses a range of negative attitudes and feelings towards homosexuality or people who are identified or perceived as being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, that is, the LGBTQ community. It has been defined as an aversion or hostility to, disdain for, or fear of gay sexual orientation or gay people, and is also described as a severe form of prejudice against the people of the LGBTQ community. Although we've come a long way since Henry VIII passed a law making male homosexual activity a punishable law by death, but yet homophobia is prevalent even today. With this, I pass on to Marisha.
Homophobia is extremely prevalent in India. In a market survey conducted by Ipsos through an interview on a sample of 500 individuals in India, the report shows that 17% identify as not heterosexual. The Supreme Court of India put an end to the criminalization of homosexuality under Section 377 on September 6, 2018. While rarely enforced, Section 377 has had serious consequences for India's LGBTQ community. The laws has left individuals open to harassment, beatings, and blackmail. Some couples have been forced into loveless marriages. Others have run away or even died by joint suicide. Today, being gay in India can mean being rejected by family, being ostracized by the community, and even facing violence. But while Indian society is willing to accept homosexuality in certain groups, it overall still remains highly stigmatized.
So I will be doing the root cause analysis, which is basically a way to define the problem before looking for a solution so that the solution is feasible. So homophobia usually comes about from a lack of exposure and interest into looking into the concept of homosexuality. And this is a result of societal norms. And societal norms, which are basically prejudice against the community, comes from things like a communication gap, illiteracy, religious extremism, and willful ignorance. We'll be looking into this next at the next slide. Can you just switch? Okay, so some of the root causes, as mentioned before, are religious extremism. And this is when basically a bias is formed towards marginalized communities like the LGBTQIA+, which stems from religious articles like the Bible. In this, there's a creation of scriptures or thoughts and perceptions that are not actually evident within the Bible or other religious forms, but they're created by humanity in order to kind of excuse the way in which they think in a way that pervades hate. So this fear of difference is created within religion despite its inherent non-existence, and this results in a concept of complete devotion to God, causing devotees to believe being a part of the LGBTQ is a sin in itself. The next one is willful ignorance, which is when a substantial percentage of society, while they are in agreement of the LGBTQIA+ being existent and being there, they choose to pretend as though those emotions are phases or they're not completely real because of this fear of difference or the hatred towards those that don't comply with what's considered the norm. We then also have illiteracy, which can be said to be a lack of educational exposure, a lack of diverse range of opinions, and no bipartisan media outlets. For instance, there's a huge rise in yellow journalism in today's media, which means that fake news is generated or news that is biased towards a certain religious sect. So this results in an inability to form perspectives that's not rooted in toxic cultures or ideas culminated from previous generations who face the same restrictions, therefore making their perception invalid. There's also the deviance from humanizing the LGBTQI+, which is basically when people find it difficult to assimilate them into their schema of love. And there's also a huge communication gap because there's a difference of understanding and language articulation of notions when it comes to members of the community, along with allies and conservatives. They think differently and therefore they articulate differently, they speak differently. And this leads to a loss of understanding of the LGBTQIA+ through strands of science, history, and multiple connotations.
Okay, so moving on to the next slide, which is generalized and narrowed down solutions. This is the crux of our solution. So guys, listen with all ears as it involves some BTS planning too. So when we talk about this subtopic, to make it simple for you, what we mean is to segregate our solution into two parts. One is generalized, which is probably a common solution that I believe most of y'all reckon we do. Like what can these bunch do besides protesting and giving presentations to spread awareness about the LGBTQ? To be honest, that's where we started, but we wanted to take this project further even after YLC and apply it in practical life, and thereby came up with coherent and unique ideas. So starting off, the secrets now, it's going to be unveiled. So we're planning to host a live event in every 4 months and expand through retained profits. The event will incorporate actors, musicians, and various stalls where the community of the LGBTQ portray their artistic talents, which will give them exposure, furthermore selling products with pro-equality and anti-hate messages, and interactive games and activities to facilitate interaction between the community and the normalized people who do not support the community. So basically the biases. Additionally, the event will also be accompanied by a digital platform that advertises the event, and the tickets bought would be used as retained profits to expand, and the money divided into several trustworthy non-governmental organizations, which will later be specified, but we haven't really gone into it. So the next slide. Okay. So what we've also done is smart analysis by utilizing what we learned in the YLC program to its utmost level. Yeah, we're jury level smart. Okay, irony aside. So jumping onto the specifics, we've covered every vivid detail, such as what's signifying the event, that the event is for motivating and promoting homosexuality, where, as in different populous cities with huge target audience, who's the community itself, the LGBTQ, and if exempting them, then the target people who are not so open to these notions. Measurable, in order to measure the success of the idea, which is your M, we will measure the amount of people that came to the events, the amount of money raised, and the number of cities that we were able to hold the event in. When we talk about A in SMART, which is attainable, the project idea is attainable as the effects of the pandemic will eventually subside and therefore enable us to hold an event, even though in the previous stages or right now in the first ones, we might hold it online, but in the latter stages, we will go offline. Then R for realistic. The idea of an event is realistic as each member will be able to plan their own event in their respective cities. So if, for example, Anviksha stays in Maharashtra, she'll plan it somewhere in Bombay, or we'll just expand slow by slow. And this will also not cause team demotivation because our goals are really clear to us and we know how we're going to go forward. And lastly, T for time bound. So the deadline that we have set for ourselves for starting the initiative will be in 2023 during the Pride month. Well, you get that now, assuming that the effects of the pandemic subside. So I guess now I'll stop occupying your time with all the technical info so that our team can explain the more interesting solutions. So let's go on to the next slide.
So moving on to the next slide, I want to talk about the person Sonal Gyani. So known for her pioneering work in highlighting lesbian and bisexual women issues as well as LGBTQ youth work. Sonal Gyani is a very vocal LGBTQ activist and an actress. She has initiated 2 broad programs, Yarya and Umang. Yarya, which means friendship in English, is a voluntary LGBTQ youth initiative and a support group by the Humsafar Trust, which organizes movie screenings, outings, bonding events, HIV and STI awareness talks and discussions on issues impacting the LGBT youth on monthly basis. Whereas Umang supports spaces to lesbian women, bisexual women, and trans persons. So basically, these were the two inspiring full programs initiated by Sonal Gyani for the betterment of the society, and our team will definitely try to conduct such concerts in our event in the upcoming time, where people can raise their voices related to LGBTQ community. So thanks. That's all from my side. Moving on to the next one.
Hello. From a veteran Latinx performance artist to an Instagram phenom, a non-binary lettering whiz to a visionary from Uganda. These artists are mastering mediums. Our event will provide these artists a stage to display their talents. It will provide them with a stage for doing whatever they love, whether it be singing, dancing, designing, painting, acting, etc. LGBTQ artists are not being given the spotlight that they deserve. Instead, event boards habitually favor straight performers, seeing them as being more marketable over queer artists. In the age of social media and streaming, LGBTQ artists are managing to find an audience. So why not allow them to grow their platforms in a live setting? Our event will be the one in which everyone will get a fair chance to express themselves. We believe that God has gifted everyone with unique talents. So why not give the LGBTQ community an opportunity to show the world what they possess and what capabilities they have? Thank you.
So aside from our main product, that is going to be our event, we have this is one of our smaller initiatives that we want to take to help the LGBTQ community. We want to send a message using products. We plan on handcrafting products such as rings, diyas, and keychains that we will be selling at these events and online as well. So whenever someone buys this product, not only will they be supporting the LGBTQ community with what they pay, because these funds that we raise will be going into NGOs that support the community, but each purchase will come with a small note that talks about the community and their history. So while supporting the community, this will also help us raise awareness and talk about the rich history that this community shares.
Another solution which we are going to use is engaging online via different social media platforms. We will engage with our audience via platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, etc. by regularly posting articles, stories, and photos about homosexuality and initiatives taken place to reduce homophobia. We will also be promoting up and coming LGBTQ artists and creators on our social medias. This will keep the event relevant even when it is not taking place. An example of such an article is almost a year had passed since Section 377 was read down by the Supreme Court in September 2018. However, the violence subjected to the LGBTQ plus community has not died down. In 2019, a young person from the city who identifies himself with the LGBTQ community was abducted, brutally thrashed by his family members, and coerced to marry a girl against his wishes. Sadly, this is a very common incident in India. Another person from the LGBTQ community in a corporate company was thrashed and bullied, and over some time, though the management had warned the peers against it, the harassment continued. This happened well after the 377 verdict was out. Fed up of the issue, he just resigned and left. Our target audience, our primary target audience is young adults. We are going to connect with them via social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. through the articles. Our secondary target audience is older adults who have a more orthodox thinking style and mindset. We are going to spread our message to them by the help of young adults who will share details about our campaigns with them.
Now that we have shown our idea, let's talk about the financials behind it. Firstly, in order to hold an event, we will need funding. For example, we will need funds to book a venue. We plan to fund the event through partnerships with companies interested in helping the LGBTQ community for public image or corporate social responsibilities. Additionally, the main revenue stream of our initiative is through tickets from the event. Each ticket will be approximately $4 US, and the majority of the proceeds will go to an NGO that helps the LGBTQ community. In order to pick an NGO to work with, we will establish proper communication with the NGO and ensure that the money is being used effectively and responsibly. Moreover, about 20% will be invested back into the initiative so that we can hold more events and expand our reach to different cities and countries. Apart from the event, our initiative will focus on external crowdfunding campaign to raise funds for the NGO that we decide to partner with. During the event, we will also convince others to contribute to the cause by convincing them to start their own crowdfunding campaigns.
Conclusion. Our project will help raise awareness about homophobia as well as the negative effects it has on numerous people and how we can support the LGBTQ community. By standing up for them, we are defending the human dignity of all and the strength of our human rights system. We are all human beings and equals, and we all deserve respect, no matter who we choose to love.
Okay, so I guess we're done, and we just like to thank our mentor, Miss Anjali, and we'd like to thank all the mentors for helping us so much. And these were some of the pictures of us working in groups, and it was pretty chaotic in the start while deciding the topic, but towards the end, using the orientations, we really got it along too well. And ending this presentation on a positive note, we just have a very short video clip that all of us want to convey. And we hope that you join us in this venture together so that we can make this a better place. So I'll just play just a second.
The beauty of standing up for your rights is others. The beauty of standing up for your rights is others see you standing and stand up as well.
So join us
in this venture
to support
our equals. 1, 2, 3.
Love
lives
liberty.
All right, so love lives liberty. Thank you, everyone. That's the end of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much to the team for the presentation. Yet another really great one. And now we're moving to the presentation of the day, which is my team. So team, the floor is yours.
Just tell me if you can see my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Great.
All 29 people who survived their suicide attempts on San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge had one thing in common. They all regretted their decision as soon as they jumped. Rosen recounted that none of them had truly wanted to die. They had wanted their inner pain to stop. They wanted some measure of relief, and this was their only answer they could find. They were in spiritual agony and they sought a physical solution. He recalls realizing that everything he thought that was unfixable was totally repairable, except for having just jumped.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, our group will be presenting our social change idea, which is called Psych Aid. We want to make sure that no person feels the need to end their life and none come as close to suicide as the 29 people on the Golden Gate Bridge did. According to a report by Child's Mind Institute, only 35% of children get the psychiatric help they need. Others don't come forward with it because of the stigma created around mental health issues. We aim to destigmatize mental health issues and give teenagers a safe platform to come forward and seek help. We want to connect them with online mental health professionals. Furthermore, we will also be creating social media platforms and podcasts to raise awareness and eliminate the ignominious characterization of mental health illnesses. In our presentation, we'll be covering 5 key points. First is the root cause, then the importance of mental health, followed by the design brief, followed by the success criteria, and lastly, our action plan.
Moving on to the importance of mental health.
Mental health refers to how people think, feel, and act in response to life's challenges. Our mental health influences how we deal with stress, interact with one another, and make decisions. Furthermore, mental health has an impact on how people perceive themselves and their lives. Mental health, much like physical health, is essential at all stages of life. A few key indicators of mental health issues can be outlined as follows: becoming socially withdrawn by friends, family, or colleagues, moodiness typically lasting for at least a few days, changes in eating and sleeping habits, anger, and hopelessness. Over to Pratham.
So firstly, we must refer to the common factors that contribute to mental health issues. These factors tend to be difficulties or stressors that adolescents deal with on a daily basis that are influenced by their surroundings. These tend to be pervasive in an individual's life, which means that they are long-lasting. Examples of such factors include trauma, such as emotional, sexual, or physical abuse, a dysfunctional home environment, school or work pressure, feelings of inadequacy, and substance or drug abuse. So, why is mental health such a prevalent issue amongst teenagers today? Well, firstly, teenagers aren't able to seek help from their parents because of the fear of being judged or dismissed, as there is a lot of stigma surrounding mental illness. Furthermore, misconceptions around complicated illnesses due to a lack of awareness leads to misdiagnosis and even ignorance by most individuals. There are insufficient platforms and areas where individuals that recognize that they have mental health issues can access help and information to ameliorate their condition. And this is something that our group aims to rectify in our project.
Our product's goal is to create a website which provides a safe space for our target audience, which is teenagers.
Our blog and forum aims to act as this safe space through a three-pronged approach. We understand that everyone who's visiting our site will come to it with different needs in mind, and we've kept this in mind while designing it. The first of these needs will be geared towards people with mental health issues. This need will be fulfilled by having resources such as helplines and ways to get in touch with professionals in our website. The second is to increase awareness about these mental illnesses so people who might have them can know that they in fact exist and will be able to seek help if the symptoms match what they feel in their everyday life. Furthermore, there is a third type of person who will be visiting our website. These are people who might not have any mental health disorders, but will be looking into preventing them for themselves. We would focus on improving this person's daily mental state.
For our initiative, we decided that creating a success criteria would define our idea of successful. First and foremost, we decided that we wanted to create a safe space for people to feel comfortable and have the opportunity to open up about their inner feelings, a place where all types of people can come and vent as they feel. Another important point is how we remain relevant in the mental health industry. We want to resonate with our readers and subscribers by always covering touching and new topics that educate and entertain them. We realize that we must keep ourselves up to date with current issues. For example, as the third wave of COVID-19 has hit us, people have been forced into isolation, which can force one to feel lonely. This has severe mental effects that aren't being heavily publicized, but we will recognize such topics and cover them in our blogs, podcasts, and websites. Now on to Yusuf.
So our website will have a friendly, warm, and a safe approach to ensure that we will make use of color like yellow and green for the theme of the website. As these colors symbolize happiness and safety, our website will be the place where people open up and share their thoughts. Secondly, for us, for the solution of the cause, people's feedback will be a great way to see if we are helping them or not. By using reviews, we will judge our success based on good reviews, and we will take the bad reviews as constructive criticism and work better and harder in the future. Over to Divkan.
We plan on increasing our website and social media growth
By aiming to include a short blurb, we will plan to give our subscribers control. We will aim to promote our latest blog post, and we will plan to be focusing on one topic messaging. Regarding our numbers, we plan on growing our subscribers by 50 each month, and in 6 months, 300 plus subscribers to our blog. And finally, after a year, we aim to have 150 users active on our website each day. This would motivate us and show us that we are heading on the right path.
And now to actually match our success criteria, the strategies for fulfillment and action plan. Our design, our ideal product would be a website designed through Wix called Psyche. A few of our members of our team are well versed with website designing as they have done it in the past for personal use. The website would be a platform for teenagers who think they need help but aren't able to get it due to dismissal or neglection. They would come to us where we would put them in touch with mental health professionals that can provide them with the help they require. Now, how do we acquire these mental health professionals for the project? Few of us are already in contact with people in this industry who are ready to help our initiative. Additionally, there are also assumptions and stereotypes made about complicated mental disorders like autism, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, etc., ones that are not so commonly known like depression and anxiety. This website would also have blog posts breaking the taboo and destigmatizing mental disorders like this.
We will be opening a platform where we will request people to donate money and we'll be looking for crowdfunding. This will be their way of showing the support to people who are going through mental health issues. There would also be a free chat space on the website called the Safe Space, which will be an AI feature for users to simply let out their emotions if all they need is someone to listen. Here, other users or us can respond to them with advice or consolation or just simply listen to them. The newsletter will also send out an email blast to our subscribers, suggesting them a few tips or tricks as to how they can start their day better. For example, 3 things you can do under a minute to feel better, which could include taking a deep breath, thinking about 3 things you're grateful for, and giving yourself positive affirmations. The daily blast could also contain positive quotes and thoughts of the days and news that could spark joys in people's hearts. We will also take feedback from our users and subscribers to keep a check on our progress and take suggestions for the betterment because that is our final goal.
We'll also have an Instagram account to promote our website, and we'll promote it through our personal Instagram handle so that we can help as many people as possible. And we will also have lives on our Instagram account so that people get to know about mental illness, and we'll have guests up here so that they can help us figure out the solutions to the problem. Our future plan also contains a podcast, our very own podcast with mental health professionals as guests. They'll appear on our podcast and we'll ask them interview questions, and they'll give us solutions to prevent and mental illness, and even if you are into a mental disorder, how to get out of it. And that will be our future plan. So thank you to the audience for hearing us out, and I'd like to give a mention to our mentor Rohan, and he really helped us out a lot. And I'd also like to thank my team. With that, we conclude our presentation, and thank you so much for listening to us. And thank you, YLC, for giving us this platform. And again, Rohan, for mentoring us. Thank you.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much, team. Awesome job. Especially proud personally, because obviously I worked with you guys very closely and very happy to see the finished product. We'll just have a couple sort of last messages on the live stream before we wrap things up with a more thorough farewell after ending the stream. But let me just turn it over to Rishi to get us started with that.
Okay. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you all the parents and all the students who have stayed with us till the end. This sort of brings us to the conclusion of our YLC presentations for this winter. I don't think I've ever come across so many presentations that are really focused on education, and of course, animal welfare as well. So it goes to show how passionate these students are on all the issues, whether it's LGBTQ, whether it's on education for the underprivileged, whether it's animal welfare, and so many other problems that these young students are trying to tackle. Before we leave, I would like to tell everyone who's joined us today that these presentations were just a very small glimpse of the Harvard YLC as a conference. There's so many more things that these students did over the past 7 days, whether it comes to collaboration, whether it comes to MBTIs, and all fascinating stuff that these students learn. I just hope that the Big Red Group is able to support all of your initiatives till the end. Please make sure that you tag us. Please make sure that you are in touch with us. And we hope to support you in every way possible. So on that note, I would just pass the mic back to Rohan for final words. Thank you once again, everyone, for putting in so much hard work, so much commitment towards your project, towards this conference. And over to Rohan for the final words. And we're going to end the live stream after that and have a short farewell with all the Harvard YLC mentors and the students moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rishi. Just want to say thank you to everyone that stuck around to watch all the presentations. I hope you guys enjoyed the work that the students had to show. And I hope you saw what we've been seeing for the last 7 days, which is just that these students are just so passionate, so committed, truly do care about making a difference. I hope you saw their vision, their ability to solve problems, their ability to take initiative. And I hope you were just as blown away as we were. With that, we just sort of want to say that, we hope that you continue just as we will to see where these students go with these projects. We would love to see some of them, making headlines, putting their great plans to action. But with that, that's sort of all I have to say on the live stream. I do want to thank you all again for joining us. I'll be switching off the stream, and students and mentors, please do stick around so we can do a farewell here in the Zoom.